Hey guys, and welcome to another First Impressions video, the video game series in which we look at a recently released game and I give you my first thoughts and impressions on it. Today we're looking at Tower Princess Knight's Trial, which is a fun little dungeon crawling roguelite type game. It's certainly got a very interesting style, it's very cartoony and very inviting. There are a few issues with the options in my personal opinion, and the game is a little bit on the shallow side from the start. It's also very confusing, it doesn't really give you a lot of direction, but we'll get into that later on. First off, we'll look at the options like always, and then we'll jump into the gameplay and I'll give you those first thoughts and impressions in more detail. Let's jump into it. Alright, so your options then. The first quip or quibble or dissatisfied tones that you're going to hear from me is that there is no mouse support. There is keyboard support, but your mouse kind of doesn't do anything. It appears on the screen, it has its own cursor image, but it doesn't actually affect anything. It's really annoying, and I hate it when games don't include a mouse functionality, especially for the options. Now, this game is very much suited for a controller, however, that also has its own issues. Namely, that the controller or the analog sticks are very, very sensitive. And I was trying to cycle through some of the options earlier, and it was just an absolute nightmare. It kept flipping one too many or not enough to the other way. However, the options themselves are fairly robust for a game like this, and I'm actually quite impressed with them. The volume starts at 50, and you've got music effect, ambient, and interface, which is nice. Your video, you have resolution scale. Screen does start in windowed full screen, although the resolution is a bit weird. Resolution, you can go to 1080 by 1080p. VSync on or off, anti-aliasing, shadow quality, and texture quality. Honestly, there could be a few more here. There could be a few more issues or options that they could allow for better optimization, but it's not terrible for the type of graphic style they've gone with. It's not very taxing on the system. And then general. Now you've got camera lag, and I think that's basically motion blur. And another thing with these options that are on or off, you still have to use the analog stick to switch them on or off instead of just using your confirm button, like A, since you're on a controller, just let me press a button and have that on. But yes, the camera lag is your motion blur, and the motion blur is quite bad in the game, so you're probably going to want to turn that off. Then you've got camera sensitivity, whether you want to invert the camera, your language, character skin, and gamepad style as by default. So there you go. There's your options. Not bad. Could use some minor tweaks for quality of life to make it just a little bit easier to navigate. Let's jump into the game. Okay, to start us off then, this is your starting area before you go into the castle to dungeon run. It gives you a choice of 2 knights to start with, although after that, these 2 knights look exactly the same, which is a bit disappointing. It'd be nice if they had one of the other knights here. You get a melee or a ranged user. Honestly, the melee is more fun to use, but it's very simple with the movements you get and the moveset and the combat that you are able to sort of partake in once you've chosen your select character. Around this area is just a nice little area. It's got a lock here, which I'm assuming you unlock as you go through and do more of the dungeon challenges. You've got an area here which is just a bunch of NPCs that you can talk to and get some funny dialogue out of. You can go up there as well if you so desire, and it's just a nice little area to explore, and you get a good feel for the graphic style and everything here. You have some interesting NPCs on the way in, and then in this area is where you're going to be doing your permanent upgrades. So you can upgrade your weapon, you can upgrade your armor, you can get some other boosts and things to enable your run to be the best it can be. You get tokens by completing certain deeds and things whilst doing your dungeon run, and then if you've got your tokens you can upgrade them, and you've got skill points and stuff, and it will show you what you actually get. However, it doesn't seem to give you an option. It is just novice's health, and then once you get to 5, I'm assuming it will give you something else. It doesn't have anything else there, which is a bit of a shame. But what you then do is you collect your princess here and you will go into the dungeon run, which I will now show you to show you how that works. Alright, we're in. I actually chose a ranged character because the melee died really, really quickly. It is very, very easy to die in this game, and it's very important to remember that if you choose a different character type, so if you choose melee over the ranged, you will actually have to gain those stats all over again. So each character type doesn't carry the stats over, which is fairly interesting. And the game is incredibly difficult for how cartoony and friendly it looks. So we're going to go ranged. Each of the rooms or dungeons are procedurally generated, and you are going to want to take advantage, especially when you're going ranged, of the targeting feature. If you don't, you're going to have a very bad time of it, because it's very, very hard to target things from a ranged distance. However, once you've selected the ranged targeter on, you will have to deselect it because it will just automatically go to the next viable sort of host, if you like. Overall, it's a little bit clunky. It's a little bit janky. Oh god, we've got somebody else going on. And it is quite difficult to actually lock onto the person that you'd want to, which can be a bit of a problem. You don't have a lot of health until you have obviously, you know, gone through a few dungeon runs and upgraded, and it's not a bad thing that it's so difficult. It's just very deceptive. It doesn't give away that it's going to be that deceptive. Now, you've got some special moves that you can use, but you only get those per time, so you've got to wait until the timer runs out so that you can use it again. And then you basically just go through each of the rooms and try and rescue the princess. And that is basically the game. It's very fast paced, it's very challenging, it's very difficult, but at the same time, it might be something that you're after. It might be the sort of challenging one run that you were hoping for. All in all, it's not bad. It's probably not the game for me. I'm not really a huge fan of roguelites anyway, or especially difficult for the sake of being difficult games, and games that are designed to just be incredibly infuriating and very, very challenging. However, I can see many other people really, really enjoying this game and having an absolute blast with it. So there you are. This is Tower Princess Knight's Trail. Are you hard enough for it? Do you think you could do it? Let me know in those comments down below what you think, and I will see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching. Ciao, ciao.